Hey y'all, while on quarantine here in the garage, spent a little bit too much time on Resvilla, ended up buying too many bike parts. Since the truck is back up and running, I went and purchased some things from Woodcraft specifically, and to kind of make the bike a little more trek oriented since it's not on commuting duty all the time. I went and bought again, all Woodcraft, the rear sets, some engine case protection, and the clip-ons. And so I'll just kind of go over just some of the things I ran on installation. If you haven't purchased Woodcraft products before, they're super high quality. All their machining and everything has really tight clearances, and when it goes together, it fits together snugly and kind of goes together as it should. That goes here for the clip-ons. Everything was real easy to put together. All the screws and everything fit together really well, really snugly. It's a good quality product. So here are the clip-ons here. I think the overall installation probably took an hour or so. The hardest part was the fitting of the instrumentation and the controls back onto the bars, but we'll go over that in a second. So compared to the stock bars, obviously it can't get it exactly where it would be. So sitting on the bike, this is how the bars look now. I got the stock bars. Let's see if I can get that in there. So your controls will be a little more angled, more tightly down to the side, and also a little swept back. And if you're looking at it from the side, it's kind of what it would be like. I didn't see a lot of reference materials on this online prior to this, but hopefully that'll help a little bit. Get off this thing here. So to install it, all you have to do is you take off all your stock controls, which it's pretty easy. You take off your instrument cluster here. This adapter plate fits onto the to the top there, and then everything bolts in. I think all these bolts here, I think I went down to 20 pound-feet. They're not huge screws. I've been Loctite on everything. They make that pretty clear in their instructions. The sequence of installation, for me, I'm kind of particular. So once that base plate was on, that was the easy part. For installation, they say to put your clip on there and then to install everything. So what I did was I put this grip on first, since this one is pretty easy. If you're real particular, I put the logo up top, and then once it was glued, I rotated the bar a little bit so that it would be even. The clutch perch here doesn't have a little pin or anything into the bars, so you can just screw that on. The part that was probably the trickiest part was on these instrument, or on these control things here. There's a little plastic pin that goes into holes. This is the stock bar. There's a little plastic pin that fits in there so as the controls don't rotate. What I did was, once I got it kind of roughly where I wanted it, I took a paint pen, I dabbed it on the end of that plastic pin, put it on the bar and kind of rubbed it on there, took the control off, and that way I knew where to drill my hole. So that side was pretty easy. There's only one. On the throttle side was a little more tricky. I kind of put everything roughly where I wanted it. Let's see, I did this guy first. There's a pin on this one, your engine start, stop, and emergency cutoff. I put that one in, then I slid the throttle assembly on there and did that. And then lastly, I came back and moved the brake, the front master cylinder accordingly, so it would all fit on there. Overall, if you put the clip-ons where they say to, which is right there at the tip of this plastic piece, it'll actually widen your grip a little bit. I think that what I may end up doing is sliding these clip-ons in a little bit, because I can imagine that at lean it would be maybe a little bit of a reach if you're hanging off the bike quite a bit. So I think I may end up sliding these in just a little bit, but we'll have to see how it goes. Overall, it already feels like you're putting more weight over the front wheel, like it's going to be quite a bit more aggressive. So again, not terribly difficult. I think it was a fairly easy installation. I think that what I may do next time is maybe while you're drilling these holes onto the clip-ons, you could use a small closed-end wrench to help hold the drill bit in place, or if you have a little drill press, that'd probably be even better. Got some of the engine protection here. On your clutch side, all the bolts are going to be the same size, so you don't have to worry about mixing anything up. On the throttle side, you have the ones on top they have varying lengths on those two, but there's not too many bolts to get mixed up. Probably the trickiest to install was these the rear sets here. The instructions, they have a diagram which is very helpful. I just went back and forth a lot comparing the picture to what I was putting together. Pretty easy installation. A couple of things to look out for. You do reuse some of the OEM bolts, washers. I think there's a wave washer, and another washer on this guy. These two bolts, this one is a little bit shorter than this one. So just small things to look out for. Overall, ton of adjustability. These things are incredibly grippy compared to the OEM ones, which was a large factor in why I purchased them. Riding in the rain and even semi-aggressive riding, the rubber parts on the OEM rear sets are nice for cruising, but not so much for grip. So really liking that there. A lot of adjustability at all these points on the shift lever, on the footrest itself. This is your two large adjustments here. The footrest I think has 6 or 7 different points of adjustment. So really excited about all that. One thing I came across was trying to let me go around this way. When I installed this side over here, I actually wanted to have this in the lowest setting because I think I wanted to start it off pretty close to stock. But anyways, what I found out was that with this exhaust, you can't have the rear sets in the lower position here. You can't have it in that bolt hole. You have to move the whole assembly up. I tried, because what I found was if you did put it on the lower setting and tried to actuate or manipulate the brake pedal, it was sitting right on top of the exhaust. It wouldn't even let you bolt it up. I tried adjusting the rear master cylinder brake here to its highest setting, and then it would clear here, but then you ran into an issue down here. So when on this MT-07, you just gotta put it up into the higher setting there. But what I found was after I sat on it, even especially with the clip-ons, so that does still make for a pretty comfortable riding position. Did the Yoshimura fender eliminator. Again, just spending too much time, and ordered that, which I'm pretty happy with. That was a pretty easy installation. Got some new Sport Max Q3 Pluses. So pretty excited about all these upgrades. Waiting on a few bolts for the new rear rotor that's going on, so I can't put it all back together yet. And it's been raining and we're on quarantine. But hope this helps with your installation of some of your Woodcraft products if you get them. Highly recommended. I've used them before in the past. Outstanding quality, and should be hopefully helpful in the case of a crash. They're all easily replaceable parts. You can buy each individual part separately. So hope you guys are enjoying quarantine, and talk to you later.